Theo, a bricklayer with dirty and torn clothes, enters a luxury hotel and everyone makes fun of him, but they have no idea who he is. If you want to find out Theo's fate and not miss other exciting stories, subscribe to the channel. Good vision. Theo was a young man of 20 with a life marked by difficulties. He lived in a modest urban neighborhood with his mother, Lauren. Lauren, ill for some time, was everything for Theo. She had raised him alone after his father abandoned them, and Theo felt a deep sense of responsibility towards her. Since he was a child, he had learned to fend for himself, often giving up what his peers took for granted. With no education beyond primary school, Theo had worked hard on various construction sites to earn a living and to pay for his mother's medical expenses. But finding a job had become increasingly difficult. Every day, Theo went to the employment office hoping for good news, but returned home disappointed. His mother, despite her illness, always tried to lift his spirits by preparing small meals with the ingredients she managed to borrow from neighbors. Their home, although simple and modest, was full of love and hope, but also of a growing anguish for the future. The once lively conversations that filled their evenings had become tinged with worry. One day, while returning from yet another unsuccessful visit to the employment office, Theo found his mother weaker than usual. Lauren had prepared a cake with the last available ingredients, hoping to see a smile on her son's face. Theo, heartbroken, told her that he had found nothing. Lauren, with a sad smile, tried to comfort him by saying that, with her pension, they would be able to get by for a little longer. Despite all his difficulties, he continued to look for work. The situation worsened dramatically when Lauren felt unwell and had to be hospitalized urgently. 3 days after hospitalization, Lauren died. Now Theo was alone and without any financial support. His mother's pension had been their only source of support, and now Theo had to face the world completely alone. The owner of the apartment, Mr. Thomas, gave him an ultimatum: 2 weeks to pay the back rent, or he would be evicted. In desperation, he found temporary work as a bricklayer. The work was hard and the pay insufficient, but it was the only option available. Every day, he woke up at dawn and worked late into the evening, trying to save every penny to avoid eviction. But despite all his efforts, the fear of ending up on the streets never left him. One day, during a lunch break, he received a phone call. A female voice on the other end informed him that she had received his resume and invited him to an interview. He agreed immediately, without even asking the name of the company. With a heart full of hope, he shared the news with his fellow bricklayers, who agreed to cover his portion of the job to enable him to go to the interview. The venue was a luxury hotel located on the seafront. Theo, with his dirty and torn work clothes, felt out of place in that elegant environment. He entered the hotel and headed towards the reception, but was stopped by a security guard, Michael, who smugly told him that he was probably in the wrong place. Theo explained that he was there for an interview, but Michael, laughing, replied that they didn't hire people with that kind of appearance. At that point, an elegant woman, Claire, intervened. She had observed the whole scene and asked the guard to check at the reception if Theo had an appointment. Shortly afterwards, Michael returned accompanied by Sally, who apologized for the guard's behavior and confirmed the appointment for the interview. The boy was taken to Sally's office, where he told his story truthfully. She, struck by his determination and desire to work, decided to hire him immediately. Theo, incredulous, gratefully accepted and immediately began working in the hotel. In the following days, he proved to be a diligent and reliable worker, earning the respect of colleagues and superiors. But not everything was solved. The death of his mother and economic difficulties continued to weigh on him. One night, with nowhere to go, he decided to sleep in the hotel dressing room. That soon became a routine, thinking he wouldn't be seen. But after a few nights, he was discovered by Sally. She, understanding his situation, informed him that she would speak to Ian, the owner of the hotel. Ian summoned Theo to his office. He, with his heart in his mouth, explained his situation, fearing he would be fired. But Ian, after hearing his story, decided to help him. He advanced his salary and offered a room in the hotel where he could live temporarily. Theo could not believe his luck and thanked Ian with all his heart. Over time, he continued to work hard and study thanks to the hotel's support. His friendship with Claire and Sally strengthened, and with them, he found the support and guidance he so needed. Even Dave, Ian's son, initially hostile to Theo, began to change his attitude when he saw his dedication and indomitable spirit. Theo was having a good time, but like all things, even the most beautiful, sooner or later, they end. If you're enjoying this story, it would be kind of you to leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. 1,000 thanks. One day, while in the hotel, Theo confronted Ian with a question that had been tormenting him for some time. "Why did you do all this for me and my mother?" Ian, with a serious expression, invited him to sit down and began to tell his story. Ian explained that he had met his mother Lauren many years before, and that he had been in love with her. When she left him, he was left wondering if Theo could be her son. Even though they were not related by blood, Ian had always felt a strong paternal bond towards Theo, and had decided to help him realize his dreams. Theo, with his eyes full of tears, realized that his whole life had been influenced by this man who, in the shadows, had tried to protect and support him. "You are not my biological father, but you were a father to me in every sense," Theo said, hugging Ian. From that moment, Theo continued to work hard, but with a new hope and determination. In the end, he managed to build a better life for himself, and his bond with Ian grew stronger and stronger. Every day, he remembered his mother with affection and gratitude, knowing that she would be proud of him. Did this story make you think about how powerful the bond between parents and children can be, even when it isn't linked by blood?